Hey, what's cracking, everybody? On today's video, we have an update to Linux Hub, and we are going to finally move it to Linux Hub version 3. So it'll be version 3.0.0. And on this update, what I've done is I did some changes with the installer. It's not many changes, but I grouped all of the options that need to be edited into one location. And the rest of the options are still there, but you only need to mess with the three options that I have grouped together. That way it'll make the installation far easier instead of having to deal with the whole thing. But as I've said before in previous videos, if you want to edit the rest, you can. So that's one of the changes. Another change is the builder. Because I believe it's 10 different desktops on my ISO, I had to fix the builder for each and every single one of those desktop environments. So I've been working on it for the past 3 days, just religiously, just been on it to fix the builder. And I got the builder working pretty nice now. So it's going to be two videos that I'm making here. One is going to be the installer, to show you the installer. It's pretty much what you've seen already, but it's going to be the same thing, but it's just with the minor changes that I want to show you. And then in the second video, we're going to go through the builder so you can see how the builder works and operates. The builder is pretty much the same also. It's just some, I did make some changes on there, and I'm going to show it to you. We're going to build a system, and then we're going to boot into that system so you can see it in action. All right, but in this first video, we're going to go through the installer for Linux Hub version 3. I haven't uploaded this ISO yet. It's not available yet, but it will be soon. Either today or tomorrow, I'll have it uploaded and ready. But for right now, I'm going to make the video so we can take a look at it, take a look at the installer, and keep Linux Hub updated. All right, so let's head on over to the virtual machine and get Linux Hub version 3.0.0 installed. Okay, and here we are on the virtual machine, so let's go ahead and boot into the ISO. Okay, and we are now booted into the system, onto the ISO, so let's go ahead and choose our installer, or choose our desktop we want to install. For this system, let's see, what do we want to do? Should we do Budgie, Cinnamon? Deepin has always been a trip because it has its own way of doing things, so Deepin really doesn't work with the builder. You can install it and set it up, but Deepin has its own things on Arch Linux that makes it difficult, in other words. So let's see, let's try something. Let's try GNOME. I'll do the GNOME installer, and pretty much this part of the installer is exactly the same. Nothing changes here. Just add your username, give it a password and the root password, and I'll just leave everything else alone. Click on OK. And right here we get a little message. Welcome to Linux Hub Prime installer. In most cases, you only have to edit 3 items: mirror region, disk configuration, and time zone. So before I go to the next step, is what I wanted to show you right here. If you look in the upper left corner, you see I've grouped all of these items together to make it easier on the person to install. So you only have to edit the mirrors, the disk configuration, and the time zone. Now, however, if English is not your language, you're going to want to edit that also. But in this case, you only have to edit the mirrors, disk configuration, and the time zone. So that's what we're going to edit here. All right, and then it also says right here, if you need to edit the locale, language, or any other settings, feel free to do so, as it will not interfere with the installation. This will install GNOME environment on your system. Thanks for trying Linux. All right, so we'll go ahead and proceed, and we'll start the installation. So the first selection I'm going to make is going to be for mirrors. Get to my mirror region. Then I'm just going to scroll up because I know United States is right there. Use the space bar to select it, and then enter. Now I'm going to back. All right, the second item is going to be disk configuration. So I'll select that, partition in, use the best effort partition, use the space bar to select the drive, hit enter. Now right here, you can use any of these options, but I'm just used to using ext4, so that's what I'm going to use. All right, that's set up. So now I'll go to back. And the next thing to set up is going to be the time zone. And on the time zone, I'm going to use the / and type LOS, so find America, Los Angeles. Then I'll click enter, and that's it. Right here, the install button's right there. It's no longer in the bottom. I grouped it all together to make it easier for the installer. And then I'll just click on install. And right here says the specific configuration will be applied. Would you like to continue? Yes. And that's it. And then it'll go through the process. So right now, what I'll do is I'll pause the video. And then there's another part that comes up after this where it asks you if you want to chroot and all that. By default, you can just click on no and just keep going. All right, so I'll go ahead and I'll pause the video now. Okay, on this part of the video, this is where the chroot message comes into play. So by default, you can just, it'll be on no, and you can just click on enter for it to continue. Now, if you do want to get in there and chroot, you can do that, but it's not required. So I'll just click on enter on the keyboard. If it'll allow me to. There you go. And now it goes through the LinuxHub part of the installation, which is the post-install settings. And right here on this part, basically what it's doing is that it's setting it up the LinuxHub way. Or if it was a custom build, it would be your way that you want it set up. So that's what's happening right now. Arch install is just used to install the basic system. This part right here, this part of the installation, is to make it all customized. That's all it's doing. So it's configuring the system and setting up custom settings. That's all it's doing. And it is going to install a few things, but it's just another part of the installation. That's all it's doing. All right. So again, we'll pause the video, and once we're ready to reboot, we'll reboot. All right. Everything is now successfully installed, so we can go ahead and reboot the system. So I'll do that now. All right, the system is rebooted, and we're going to add our passwords. We can log into the GNOME desktop environment. All right, we are now logged into the GNOME environment, and you can see we get hit by a welcome GNOME screen. Now, this screen is set up by GNOME itself. It's not something that I set up. This is done automatically by GNOME, but it's nice that it does come, already branded with whatever I put on there. So that's a plus. So it says, welcome to LinuxHub GNOME. If you want to learn your way around, check out the tour. So we can either take a tour or we can skip. I'm going to skip because I've done it before and I don't need to look at it right now. Right now, we're just looking at the version 3 of LinuxHub to see the updates and work and see how it's all being improved. So I'll click on skip. And then right here, I'll click on this and it'll show you, this is our control center. This is the first thing that pops up during our, it's like our welcome screen, basically. So, but I just call it the LinuxHub Control Center. Now, once you get into setting up the builder and all that, you can, edit this image right here. You can call it whatever. You can call it a welcome screen, or you can call it a control center. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I chose to call it the LinuxHub Control Center. So that's what it says. But if you use the builder and you want to change the name of this, you can change it to whatever you want. All right, but basically in the control center, one of the first things you want to do is update the core repositories. So it automatically opens up a terminal for you. You just add your password and it does that for you. The second option is if you want to, back up your system with TimeShift, you click on that. It'll ask you for authentication. Then you just do the same thing, add your password and continue on to the next step. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click on that button and build our new customized system. So a few dialogues open up. And you can see right here, Prime Builder. Select your installed desktop to begin. So I installed the GNOME desktop environment. So I'm going to click on GNOME Builder. All right, so this will open up the next dialog. It says Prime Builder. This tool will guide you along to create a customized Arch Linux respin with your desired custom settings. Click on continue to get started. So we'll click on continue. So far, everything pretty much looks the same, but there are some changes here. Edit your theme, wallpaper, icons, and mouse cursor to your desired look with the buttons below or from your system settings. Either way, settings will be copied to your ISO. So right here, I'm going to customize my system. Click on this button and it should open up the dialog. So right here, you can switch it to a light system or a dark system. And then right here, you could change the background. Say like, for example, you want to use this background, you can use that. And right now it's populating to more images. If you want to use this background, you can use that. You can use any image that you want to use. The choice is up to you. But let's say for the sake of this video, I'm going to use this image right here. All right. And if I want to add a picture, then I'll just add a picture. All right. So that's pretty much my customizations that I wanted to make. If you want to go deeper into it, you can do that. You can go into, I believe, you can open up, what is it, tweaks. Let me see, let me click on tweaks, see what that does. Not sure if it has any, oh, there it is, appearance. So from right here, you want to change the cursor, you can go ahead and do that. Let's say, change to that, that's handheld, white glass, I'll leave it on white glass. Right now, my icons are obsidian gray, but let's say I want to change it to, let's go Bloom Classic. I'll change it to Bloom Classic, or better yet, let me try another obsidian. Obsidian green. Let's go with that. All right, shell right now, there is no shell. You have to install extra stuff to get your shells. And legacy applications, which is going to be your theme. Let's say I want to use Arc Dark. I could change it to Arc Dark. But you can see right here, the GNOME window, it needs the shell. So you have to install shell theme scripts to get that started. But for right here, I'm good with that. And then I'll click on continue. It says open images with GIMP to edit. And this is going to be your welcome screen, your installer screen, and your splash screen. It's 3 separate images. It's going to open up with GIMP. And right here, you can edit them however you wish. So for example, the first image, I'm just going to throw an overlay on top. And then I'm going to fill in that overlay. Let's give it a, just going to give it this color. And then select the bucket and go. And this one is the, let me see, this is the control center. This is the installer. So let's go ahead and go to my text. And I'm just going to type in installer. If you want to, you can put whatever you want right here. You can edit them however you want. If you want to overlay it with other images, you can do that. You know, this, that, and the other. So this is the installer. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Then I'll click on File and Overwrite. So basically, you just follow suit. You just do the same thing for each image. So now the next image, this is like for the welcome screen. I'll do the same thing, put an overlay. And then I'll go ahead and change the color of it. I'll overwrite it. Well, I didn't want that. I wanted this. Okay, there we go. And then while I'm here, I'm going to go to the third image. This is what, this way the colors are consistent. So, all right. Now I'll go back to this one and add my text. And this will be the control center, welcome screen, whatever you want to call it. So let's say I'll just put a welcome screen. Oh, but of course, you want the text to be a color that can be seen. There you go. And I'll just make this bigger. And now I'll try to center it as best as possible. All right. And then I'm just going to overwrite this one. Overwrite the welcome. And then I can just close that. And this is going to be your splash screen. So let's go ahead and add some text to this. This will be the splash screen. This is for when you boot up the ISO, the image that you get on there. Well, that's pretty much a place where I want it already anyway. So I'll just leave it like that. And then I'll overwrite the image. All right, so I'm done with this one also. And I'll close it, and I can close again. I'm all done with editing the images. And whatever you want, whichever way you want to edit them, edit them. All right, and this is different right here. It says here we will set customized environments for system branding. So this is little details that you want to set up. So pay attention to spaces, underscores, and such on each entry. So for the first one, it says set custom ISO label. Example, your distro name. But notice that it has underscores. Okay, so right here, for example, I'm just going to call it distro underscore name. Okay, it's that simple. And then on the next one, set grub menu entry. Example, your distro name. So I'm just going to call it distro name. Now notice this one does not require underscores. And right here where it says panel menu button, you don't see the panel right here that it's talking about. This is for the installer. When your installer shows up, is where you want your distro name to show up. So right here, I'll just type in again, distro name, whatever name you want to call it, you put it right there. And that's going to show up down here on the lower left-hand side of your panel. It's going to have whatever distro name you put right there instead of saying prime. All right, and then the last option is you want to set a host name entry. And the example right here is that you don't use spaces on this part right here. So whatever your distro name is, you put it in there. So I'm just going to put distro name, and you notice there's no spaces. Then I'm going to click on OK. And it's congratulations. You are ready to create your customized respin. Click on build your ISO image to start the process. In the terminal, just enter your password. That's it. So right here, build your ISO image. You click on this, terminal opens up. I'm going to make this bigger. And then I'm just going to enter my password. And that's it. Let it go. You can see right here, it says distro name and the date. That's going to be your ISO name right there. All right, so let it go through the process, and then I'll pause the video right now, and then we'll boot into this customized ISO so you can take a look at it. So I'll go ahead and pause the video right now. Okay, ISO is created successfully, so we're going to go ahead and there's a button right here that says open output folder. And right here on the dialog window, it says a backup of your ISO was created at your home folder. Your respin is in a folder called output. So I'm just going to click on done right here. And then I'm click on finish. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a folder so you can see. So we're going to open up the folder. So this is the ISO folder that it's working with, but it created a backup for you right here called ISO backup. Now your ISO is right here in this folder called output. Click on that. You see right here, distro name ISO. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Then I'm going to click on my network because I'm going to transfer it over to my system so I can set it up in a virtual machine. So I'm just going to throw it in here. And I'm going to replace because I've done it before because I've been testing out systems for the past 2 days. So basically I just name them the same thing. And then once this copy's over, what I'll do is I'll shut down this virtual machine and I'll create a new one with this one called distro name 2024-07. So that's done. Let's go ahead and close this one down. So we'll shut it down, power off, power off. All right, now right here, I'm just going to go to this little plus sign, install from file, go to my downloads, and you can see right here, distro name 2024-1207. That's the one we just made. And it is an Arch-based system. So for my memory, I'm going to give it a 4 gigabytes. And for my hard drive, I'm also going to change that to 40. Create. All right, you can see right here, this is the custom splash screen that we created. And you can see it's that ugly yellow that I chose with the name splash screen on it. And right here, you have your options, whatever you want to do, but you always want to select the first one. Distro name would be the name that you give your system. We'll click on select. And you see right here, it also says welcome to distro name. All right, so our system has booted up now, and you can see right here. This is what I meant by your custom name would show up right here on the installer screen. Okay, and you can see this is another one of the images that we edited, and right here it just says installer. So just go ahead and begin installation, and it's going to look identical to the other one, just with a few minor changes. Just click on that, give it our complicated password, and then click on OK. And pretty much here, everything's the same as the regular installer. Only difference is it'll be branded with whatever you want it to say. So right here, it'll say welcome to the distro name installer, and it's going to give you the message about editing these 3 items, the 3 items that you need got edited right there. And it also says this will install the distro name environment on your system. Thanks for trying, and whatever your distro name is will come up right there. All right, so I'll click on proceed, and right here everything's the same. So I'm going to skip through most of this. I'm just going to set up my mirror region. Then I'm going to set up my disk configuration. And then I'm going to use ext4. And I'll go to back. Then I'll set up my time zone. And just click on install. That's it. All right, I'm going to pause the video again. When we come back, we'll take a look at our customized system. And you can see right here that the installer, all the installers use the OpenBox desktop environment or OpenBox window manager, whatever you want to call it. So they all use OpenBox, but it'll be the system that you chose. For in this case, it's going to be GNOME. So once we install this, it's going to come up as GNOME once we reboot into the system. All right, so let's go ahead and pause the video. When we come back, we'll reboot into the customized GNOME system. Okay, and the installation is now completed on our custom system. So let's go ahead and reboot. And our system is now rebooted. And you can see right here, we saw this message during the installation where it said, welcome to LinuxHub. Now it says, welcome to whatever distro name you use will show up here. So we're just going to go ahead and skip this. And this is our welcome screen with our custom image. Like I said, you can put whatever image you want. This is just the image that I used. So that's the image that's showing up. And there you have it. Your own customized system. Easiest way to build a customized Arch respan. No other way you could do it this easy. You could do it 100 different ways, but not as easy as doing it this way. So this is the easiest Arch respan maker that's known at this point right now. And let's see, let's open up a terminal. You can see right here in the terminal, whatever distro name that you add, it would show up right here. Instead of saying LinuxHub, it says distro name and it's GNOME. All right, you guys. That's gonna do it for this video. I just want to show you how the builder works and how it sets up the system the way you want it set up. All right. If you're a new user to the video, please go ahead and subscribe. If you like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. All right, you guys. That's going to do it for this video. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. Test it out. I always need testing. I didn't even know the builder was broken until something told me to check it. Since the regular system was broken, I said, well, you know what? If the regular system is broken, then that means that the builder is going to be broken. So I hadn't realized that. If I don't know that the builder is broken, I don't know that I have to fix it. All right. So you guys see a problem like that, and I haven't done anything about it, please leave me a comment. That way I can work on it. All right, you guys. That's going to do it for this video, and I'm out.